Hey everybody, how you doing today? So grateful to be here. Hello, Cindy. Great to have you guys. Hello, Carolyn in the background. Thank you for your support and assistance with this. And happy Wednesday. Today, I thought we could have a conversation. So, as much as you would like to ask questions, and you can ask me anything at all, I will answer to the best of my ability or whatever comes through for that moment. And as I was watching that little promo video, I have to commend Norma on her creativity lately. She's been in this huge creative mode, creating the membership, creating ways of making it all connected in the background. So she's like this architecture within that, and it's quite fascinating. And then, of course, my architecture aspect is more big picture and making sure that things resonate and work and they're on track. And so it's been a couple of weeks since the solstice and the full moon. It's been a lot going on. So how are you guys doing? For me personally, it's been much more rest and reset, so to speak. Definitely some purging energetically, and lots of napidations. So, I just had a nap for an hour. Mind you, I went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night. And then, of course, didn't sleep all the way through. I was up from like 10 to 11. And then I was up at 5 a.m. Boing. And once that's done, it's like, all right, you're getting up. So then I definitely need a little napidation to show up in my best self here today, right now, which is always part of my mission, and that flexibility. Yeah, absolutely. Aw, beautiful. Thank you, Carolyn. Yeah. Yeah. When you own a home and you own a property, or you're a mom and you're raising kids, or you're working and paying bills, there's always a lot going on externally. And so it's that reminder to carve out some time for self. It might only be 5 minutes if it's all you can get in, might be 10 minutes, might be 15, and just go and plug into Mother Earth and have a few breaths out there. So it's definitely required for me. One is to make sure I'm getting myself in the sun a little bit. That's very activating for me. I am a sun sign. I am a Leo. I am fire. So that connection to the sun is extremely important for my being. And I've always kind of known that. Also, speaking from the person who always lost any sunglasses, couldn't wear a hat. I'm like, what is wrong with me that I keep like sitting on my sunglasses or losing them? And then when I found out that, hey, you're supposed to be getting the sunlight, not directly staring at it during the day, but it is important to have that on your eyes. I'm like, oh, I was being protected the whole time. And so once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. So really beautiful to move into this new space, to get into this new creative way of being and showing up differently. So what can you do to show up differently where you're at in your life? And a lot of this, for me, what I'm being shown and guided today is around some self-love. And so can you find some things that you're grateful for about yourself? Super grateful that I'm healthy, strong, and fit. So that's one of my that's just who I am. Like a painting client said to me, she goes, "You're so fit. What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, not much anymore. I do hiking and I do Pilates, which is like working from the inside out. It's very meditative for me. And I do some morning routine exercises, little qigong, a little yoga. Sometimes I'll pick up a light weight. But I used to do really hardcore hit workouts and like drive myself. I had myself in such a fight or flight energetic that I had to purge energy all the time. And then of course that's very exhausting, and then you end up with adrenal fatigue. So it's taken probably about a year of me rejigging and rebalancing that and going, you know what? I'm good the way I am. Now, I could certainly, yeah, I eat good. I mean, I just had some salt and vinegar chips. Tastes are really good. I didn't have that many, but I don't deny myself that which I desire. I make sure I get lots of protein and lots of vegetables and salads. I crave salads. Absolutely. It's an integral part. Lots of fish, a little bit of chicken, and then every once in a while, a little bit of high quality beef, or I have some deer meat that came through David recently. So those are just some of the things, all right? I'm good at cooking. I love cooking. I love to alchemize. I do love baking. I don't bake a ton because that just means I'm going to put it in my mouth. And so being, yeah, really getting more connected with who I am, what makes me tick. And am I doing it for me or am I doing this for somebody else or because I should be doing it? So really observing yourself. And Janice, thank you for sharing that. Really need to reconnect to myself. Being so tested at every level at the moment. Had a few cries today already. It's been very, yeah, absolutely, Janice. And have some compassion for yourself. We have compassion for others, but we forget to have compassion for self. I'm not going to say we're not being guided to show up differently, to behave differently. And I'm not going to say that change is, easy. It takes some rewiring of the subconscious and the brain, and it's not as simple as one would like it to be. Oh yeah, I'm just going to flip the switch on this. Some things could be, right? So have compassion with yourself. Sometimes just getting through the day is all you need to do. There's no race. It's all part of the journey. So what can you do right now to just stop and breathe and do something that will lift you up and bring you a little joy or make you laugh or dance to music? Quite often and having cries is an energetic release, and then some body movement to help move that energy further. It can be really beneficial. And again, that grounding or getting in a bath. Nurture, love yourself, show your body some love. Yeah, I would say that would be, or some flowers. Go buy yourself some flowers if you need to, or if you go buy a planted one and then you get to live with it, right? That's how a lot of my plants show up, as they start off as a gift, and they're all usually living plants because I prefer those. And then they end up with these. I got to replant these guys. They're super happy. So yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So just even if you put a little effort into planning out what you would like to do, what does a day look like for you? Maybe it's a revisit on what's most important and making that little list, and what can you let go of more that you don't need to do, and find more balance within your life so that you're filling your own cup up more. That's been sort of what's been happening over here, is a bit of rejig, like not even on social media very much. One of the reasons I brought on a team, and I'm really happy to pay for it, is so that I don't need to dive in there that strong, because I'm much more balanced if I'm not on social media that much, because my brain doesn't know the difference between, yes, I'm watching social media, but it doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So it's subconscious programming going on, remembering that our subconscious picks that up, right? And so what can you watch that will bring you joy? What can you do that's maybe a little bit educational? For me, lifelong learning is really important. And that's part of my self-love too, is to continue to learn about self. And a lot of my learning right now is getting quiet and going inside and learning how to tap in more and go a little deeper. And can I channel that? And oh, look, a little light language is showing up. So these different aspects that are coming in, or the dragons are showing up more today. Yesterday it was Sirius, the blue energy was coming through quite strongly. I didn't have a choice but to do a little meditation on that. And that one I posted for everyone as a sample meditation. And we will do those Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday mornings as a bit of a reset, but then you can rewatch them. So that's part of the membership. And remembering that first month is free. So yeah, you just need to sign up, and you get a month for free, and you can cancel before if it's not for you. Okay. Getting a lot better at turning off media if I feel it's making me angry or stressed, walk away. Yeah, absolutely. You're responsible for your reaction to things. So that's the one thing you are responsible for 100%. So when we blame external things for triggering us, trigger is a gift. Oh, why is this triggering me? Oh yeah, I need to look at this differently. And so that can be highly beneficial. Let's talk some more about self-love though, because I don't think we're done with this. Self-love, self-care, maybe it's connection that you need, some family time, maybe, and that's sorry, I don't mean to be salesy, and I'm trying not to be, but we do once a week connections on the AFC site, And we can do breakout rooms and augment it for who shows up to those meetings. But that's once a week, it's live and it's for you. And then of course they'd be recorded. And the reason we're feeling so passionate about this and aligned with this is we really want to create a container that nobody else can control per se but us. Yes, it's on a website system, but we are in full control of how we show up and how we build it and what we can move around and what we can plug in and pull off. And it's been really fun and playful. It was a way more um, learning curve than any of us thought. And we didn't pay for someone to build the website. We decided to pay for the social media instead because that was more relevant for me because it's something I'd been working on and it wasn't working the way it was. So we've adjusted that. So that's beautiful. What else can we do for self-love? Take baths, massage our body, dry brush our body. I don't know if you guys know, but dry brushing or energetic brushing can be highly beneficial for shifting and moving that energy. There's many ways. Essential oils, getting a massage, right? Going and sitting at the beach and just plugging your feet in the sand and watching the waves. It can be really, really, really healing. Sitting by a river doesn't have to cost money. Um, I definitely enjoy connecting with other like-minded people. So you'll see more guests popping on here. We're talking about doing a summit for November, and I've got some great people lined up. I'm very excited about that. I would love to um, have on a fellow who's very connected with the dragons. And so it would be really cool for him to come on and do some channeling with that. Beautiful messages. And so, even though you don't see us on here all the time, there's stuff always going on in the background. And I'm always connecting. I'm going on somebody else's podcast coming up. Oh, and put a shout out for that right now. If anybody knows of a podcast that I'd be a great guest for, I would love to hear about it. Putting that out to the universe. Ta-da! So we can connect with more like-minded people. And that's part of my self-love, right? Is to keep that connection going. It's an integral part of who I am to be connecting with other souls and finding common ground and lighting everybody up. And yeah, love being here with like-minded people. Absolutely. Yeah. It's to me, it's part of that connection when one is disconnected and feeling very alone, as many certainly have over the past while. Part of that can be a cocoon phase and going through a bit of a dark night of the soul, but eventually you need to reconnect. And then it's finding the right tribe, right? I mean, every day when I listen to somebody new, I listen to a few people just for their messaging, but half the time I'm like, "Oh, that doesn't resonate anymore. Interesting." And then, somebody like the alchemist, quite often I have to listen to them twice, because I'll pick up different nuggets the second time around, but she's always got really powerful messaging that I can, um, certainly perceive, and then Gabby is one as well, and her messaging is quite powerful. Both of them are quite high levels, so to speak, as far as, language and wording that they're using, and so it's good to have a little breakdown, and not unlike, a Norma to be able to look at it, and it takes studying to start to grasp more. We have that book, the Book of Wisdom. Yeah, I have that book. I printed it out. So I do have that book. And let me know if you guys are interested in us doing a program to show off that book and go through it and then do different breakdowns on it. And it's funny because Norma read through it. I have not read it all yet, but she's like, Tanya, you're doing all this already, just so you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Which is what David also told me. You're already doing everything. And so those are just confirmations for me that even though we all are like, well, I must be able to do more. Um, it's definitely a way of um, confirmation, and then studying what resonates with you. 5 Tibetan rites, yeah, yeah. But you know what? Don't beat yourself up either. It's important to remember that we can baby step anything we want. There's no race. It is all part of the adventure. And I can tell you right now, I will take getting outside over reading a book. unless it's pissing rain out, I will always choose nature. So that is my that's my dealer, as I've said before. And why do I say that? Because nature gives me everything I need. It hands me stuff, it hands me food. I find things out. I don't even know how this all started. A little bit around Vedette Lake of me recognizing plants and then going further into it. But now I just look and I'm like, that looks edible. And so then you start to learn. And once you start to learn something, you can't unlearn it. But so there's this constant integration happening with nature. I'll drink from like the creek outside. I'll make sure that I get my hands and my feet in it. I'll put it on my face. That communing with nature is my number one go-to. And I'm not ashamed to say that whatsoever. If you wanna somebody says to me, "Oh, let's go out and do dinner," I'll be like, "Well, why don't we go for a walk and talk?" Because I'd way rather be moving in nature, and, I find people, release energy, it's easier for them to speak clearly, it's easier for them to let things go. Just I find it nicer than sitting in a restaurant where I have tons of distractions and other people and other energies going on, so, yeah. So, what is your number one go-to? What is the one thing that you make sure you do for you no matter what? I'm curious to know. Very curious to know. My number two thing right now is sleep and rest. So, whether that's sitting outside or that is napa dating or even just meditating, that's my number two. Can you guys see the balloons? I'd say this is a close number 2. This is a close number 2. Yeah, is that beverage. Intermittent fasting doesn't go away. Sometimes I eat at noon, sometimes I don't eat until dinner. Just depends on how I feel. Yeah. Sounding out in nature, which is my frequency, my healing, right? That's important for me. I don't care who hears me. I'm not I'm not too worried about it. I might embarrass my daughter once in a while, but she'll get over it. All right, you guys. So tag me with some questions. Let's get into some questions. What are you doing for self-love? What are you struggling with right now? The 9 types of chosen ones. Yeah, I don't know the full 9 types. So hold on. So there's this whole thing going around star seeds. Thank you for reminding me, Carolyn. And the different types of star seeds, right? So I'm a connector bridge, but I'm also a healer. So right away I'm like, yeah, that sounds like labeling to me. So, and we're all star seeds. We all have stardust within us. It's whether or not we choose to activate those gifts. Whether or not we choose to activate those gifts and then do what we're called to do. And many people will bridge several things. And so we didn't want to, I would hate to say, oh, you're a healer. That's all you are. You're just a healer. That's not, that's not right. Because if you're a healer, you must also be able to connect with people. So you're a connector, you're a bridger. We often say we're running the front end right now because nobody knows what this new world looks like, but we're building for it. We're visualizing it, right? And so I'm sure that's where a lot of these energies come from. And on that note, I'm just being asked to also share. I do believe that how dense the earth was at this time around our age coming in and more star seeds coming in then is the conscious collective programming that was. I don't feel like it's nearly as strong as it was. It was much, much stronger before. And so we got programmed. So you can't tell me when you're born in a hospital, they got everything. They know what time you come in, they got your blood type, right? And I swear, because most of the people I know that are really stepping up into their personal power have had a shit ton of crap happen in their life. They went through some hurdles. They were the black sheep. Yeah, absolutely. Um, ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, give me a second. I'll come back to that, Janice. And so to actually get through that, To actually get to where we are now, there needs to be a huge celebration, honestly, because we got through so much. We've come through so much. Reminder again, look how far we've come and have so much gratitude for that. To be able to keep going, even though life tried to take us out several times. Yeah, there was, it's quite impressive to now where can start to feel, okay, I really feel that this past few weeks, some people have been speaking about a collective shadow. Absolutely. Yeah. There's been this extra release. We need to clean out our DNA. To activate it, it needs to be purged. Many people are having colds or struggling with things, right? This is all part of that. So it's always happening now for our highest good. I don't believe there's any more, I don't get that there's any more nefarious shit going on that can affect us in the way that we were affected previously. So I got that loud and clear 2.5, 3 years ago. That was one of the first messaging I got. There's Nervestein. Hello, Nervestein. Yeah. So, all right, Janice, I'm just going to pop your comment back up here. Struggling with the 3D makes it try and pull me back in on a daily basis. Right now, it's the California Tax Board. It's been so solid up until 2 days ago. Okay, so I don't know your full story. um, but I know you will get through this. I know that this is just this is a test, only a test. Mm. Let me just see if I can I need some more info from you. So tell me, did you submit some paperwork? I don't even want to talk about this too much because I don't want to cause anything else. So, oh, I would just burn that piece of paper and then don't answer when they call. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, yeah, you've got this. Mm. All right. Whoops, this one. How does someone know if they're Palladian, Andromedan? Is that a knowing, a feeling? No, you're not disrespecting at all. It's a good question. I believe many of us are several, right? So if there's you know, you've gone through many different timelines per se. So you get to be many things. Yeah, absolutely. So I believe I've been like, I don't know, I came up with like 7 or 8 and it was like, yes, yes, yes. Like, all right. So if you've experienced them all, right? Then you've got that in you. And so this is again because I feel mm, uh yeah, I wouldn't have submitted paperwork. I'm stalling all of that. So okay, love, we'll come back to you again. So what I would say when I ask for you, definitely Palladian, Drummond, and how many others? Over a dozen? Yeah. You've been around so many times. Okay, let's go back to the root. So when I came in, I went into 3 universes right away. I split right away, went into 3. I'm not gonna remember what those are right now. So even as an original, uh, even as an original, I know that I split right away. And so I was already a bridge, already a connector. So that is part of my framework, so to speak. And I wouldn't try and label yourself at all. You can be some, all, many. Yeah. So, and take what resonates and dump the rest. It's a nice story, isn't it? How does that affect you in your life right now? Just means I get along with a lot of people that I can relate to many different levels and I just observe it, right? And then it's funny as human beings when we go into a space, we right away in order to fit in, will mimic where we are. And we don't even it might be just gestures, mimicking hand movements back and forth, but it's a very, very common thing. Absolutely. All right. Any more questions on that, let me know. And yeah, not a bad question at all. Yes. Okay. So Janice, you're gonna have to message me privately for this one. I can't say it on here. There's a way around this though. There always is. All right. Yes, absolutely. And so take what resonates and yeah, there we go. Absolutely. Janice, I'm just sending you some love, hon. Archangel Michael wants to come in. He's gonna help protect you, okay? You just want to close your eyes for a minute and focus on the color blue. And let a blue light come in through the top of your head and just radiate all the way through and around your body. Beautiful. All right. And then send me a message and I'll on Telegram and I will get back to you. So yeah, don't want to put too much energy towards it and certainly not on public live. All right, clear. Let me let that one go. All right. Beautiful. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, you deserve to receive love. Yeah, we often help others so much we forget about ourselves, right? Which brings us back again to that self love, self care. What do we need to do? Right. So, Janice, if somebody called you and said the same thing that you're sharing now, what is the advice you would give them? Yeah. And then work it from there. Awesome. Okay. So we can chat more about races or galactic travel, astral travel. Who's aware that they're traveling at night? Put your hand up. No, I can't see you. Who's aware that they're traveling at night? Because I've been having some very interesting like meetups with people. Like I'll think about somebody and I'll be like, oh, I should reach out and talk with them and ask them some questions. And then I'll have a dream and I'll get the answers to my questions. And I was like, that's interesting. So, you will be getting messages in new ways. Yeah. So Janice, before you go to bed tonight, write it out. Write it out. Ask the question out loud, speak it into a glass of water, take a drink of water, and say, please, may I have some answers for this question tonight? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Serge. Yeah. Yes, lots of traveling. Yeah, okay. Don't forget to write them down because even if it doesn't make sense, as you write it down and then ask for confirmation and see what shows up next. Ask for that confirmation because quite often people are like, "Oh, I had this crazy dream," but it may correlate to something that you've been questioning or something that might be about to happen. And so, really, to um, ask, I keep getting posture the question in such a way so that you may get the answer you desire, right? So that you can get those answers for self. Yeah, it's a really beautiful, beautiful way of just upgrading your communications and realizing you have all the answers you need. And if you don't, you can ask and find out. Yeah, which is quite profound as we go through this and as we shift. It's like, oh, I am my own help, right? We don't need to look it up and call somewhere and find out, right? You can start to get more and more answers for self. So some of that might be through body dosing, some of that might be through pendulum dosing or using the rod. Yeah, and just getting those confirmations for self because it will increase the gifts and ask for signs from your team. I'm gonna dream, but the details disappear. Yeah. So Norm Jean has a recorder. Quite often they're not meant to be remembered yet. And I'll remember snippets. Here's a funny one. As I'm going to lie down and as I drop in, often I will be reminded, hey. remember this, you dreamt about this. And then I'm like, oh, and I voice record it right away. So Norm and I use voice recorders. Otherwise, stuff would be gone. Yeah. So really, really good to use the recorder or anybody do automatic writing? Have you tried that? That's a really good way of connecting. So uh, yeah, asking for confirmation does really work 100%. And that's good because the more you trust self and tap in, the more you get. So automatic writing is when you first wake up and stay in a nice meditative state and just start writing. Don't think about what you're writing. Try and really stay within, so to speak, and just write. You can have your eyes closed, you can have them slightly open. Don't focus on what you're writing because then we're trying to control it. No, we don't want to control it. We just want it to come through. That works really, really well for many people. For me, I can often drop in and do a bit of a channel. Um, I had somebody who's quite experienced at it. We had a conversation and she said, "You know, for you doing that on camera with me the first time," she goes, "You're 70% right." And I'm like, "Well, that's not bad considering." But I'm not afraid of it anymore. It used to make me like nervous and weird. Same with like humming or singing or light language. It's like once you get past that initial this feels weird, then it just becomes part of you and it's beautiful. So what else can you grow on and enhance for self? These are all things you can do for you to support you in your life without having to pay any money, without needing to take any tests per se, right? And all it's going to take is spending some time with you. What's better than that? Falling in love with yourself so much that you're never lonely. You're never alone. You can, get out into nature and play a game. Yeah. Interesting, Carolyn. Yeah, right? Some people are really good at it, and some people don't remember so much, and that's okay. Yeah. It comes in fits and starts. Remembering too, and I still believe this to be true, when your sun sign is in the moon phase, and I put that up a few times now, that you are more connected, more activated, more I see more visuals at that time of the month. I've been seeing a lot of visuals lately. I'm getting a lot of confirmations and a lot of intuition like messages coming through as words or statements. Could be a guidance somewhere or being shown something. Yeah, it just depends. So, what else can you do for some self love? We're going to keep this one going because I still believe there's more to it. What about some self care? Even like changing up your food a little bit, adding in more water or adding in more greens, or even just trying something new, a new dish, right? Creating something new. It's a reminder that when we're creating our life versus consuming our life, and creating your life is when you do different things. You'll try something new. You'll go to a different restaurant. We went to a different restaurant the other night and it was really, really good and was delicious. Or you try a new spot to visit. We stopped at Shannon Falls on the way home from Vedette Lake because we came down through Whistler and Norma hadn't been there and I hadn't been there in years, but I just climbed right over the fence and went in and sat by the waterfall just to do a energetic cleansing, right? So doing something new, so you're creating. And when you're in creation mode, your vibration is going to be higher. That frequency you send out will be higher. Or if you're in consuming mode, you're doing the same thing every day. And yes, routine is not a bad thing, but people do the same thing. They get up at the same time. Maybe they go to the gym, they do their workout, they have a shake, they get in the car, they go to work, they have their lunch break. They might go for lunch with a few people at similar restaurants because they're all in the work thing, right? Back to work, get home, maybe went for drinks after work, right? So there's this consuming aspect. Drive the same way all the time, keep the same friends, don't do something new. So when we get out of our comfort zone and we teach the body something new, especially, it's it's actually creating new neural pathways in the brain, which is expanding your consciousness. And this is why I'm suggesting this. To expand one's consciousness is to do new things, to try new things, to go somewhere different. It's one of the reasons I love traveling. I'm good at it. It can pluck me and drop me somewhere, and I will it's like, I'm first player in the video game, I'm gonna figure it out. So, all right, what do we need to do first, right? And it's even more fun when you've got a couple people to work through it with. Yeah, sometimes there's frustration, but isn't there in life anyway? So this is why I love this traveling aspect and this full creation mode and just being able to tap into nature in different areas and tap into people and connect with other people in a different way. And for Jade, it's all about the cats. Doesn't matter where we go. Are there cats there, Mom? Yeah. So, and for her, that meeting all those other cats, right? Ah, yes. Kreba says, I've fallen so in love with looking up at the sky, clouds, storms coming in, magic, pure magic. Absolutely. And so if we can remember that that is a reflection for us, and I believe that, we're a whole universe inside. You think about a little cell, and you think about the nucleus, and then right? And then they multiply. So stars are created. We've got this whole symbiosis thinking, which helps us to it just gets me really excited about this whole creation process. It is super, super, and yeah, sky watching is incredible. Do you know how many clouds you can get? How many ships I've been seeing? It's like bonkers. So I definitely, it's first thing I do when I start to drive, especially I have a quote or two every day right now, or jobs that I need to go stop by. My first thing is to look up, right? And see what's going on. I will always notice eagles. I will always notice hawks. I'll notice what birds are flying in front of the vehicle, right? But the sky and the clouds and yeah, really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It's a good reminder. Yeah. Ah, yes. And I keep saying that this spring nature really sprung, right? Very vibrant, it's very green here right now, which isn't normal for running into July. Normally we're a little more dried out, but we had a January this year, as we like to call it. And so here we've had that extra push of color and nature's really blossomed. But I also do believe, good for you. It's a reflection of us. So it's a reflection of us out in nature. When we're doing good in a collective way, and we've increased the collective vibrational, the collective consciousness, it's definitely been increased. The pillars of light are strong around the planet right now. And when that is going on, nature is reflecting to us, right? Because I can remember a few years ago when everybody was pretty low and what the heck is going on? Nature was very flat. And so just out of curiosity, yeah, do you notice that? Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have any more questions or clarifications on things? What else can we tap into today? Yeah, just more of that. Is everyone tuned into the Schumann resonance? Yeah, I have a funny thing about that. So I believe everything is still a reflection for us. So people are saying, oh, the Schumann's this and the Schumann's that, or sun flares, solar flares. It depends on how you perceive it. I don't feel somebody said there's another spike. Well, that's tomorrow, I think. I definitely felt it a bit on the weekend. It was quite intense. Um, but again, I think this is the personal thing for me for an upgrade. It's my time. Summer is my time, right? So it's always been because I'm a Leo and because I'm a sun sign. Summer has always been my time to shine. Yeah, I feel we are the Schumann too. Absolutely. Everything is a reflection for us. And if you think about it, for solar flares, like if you look at the etymology of all the words and you start to perceive that way, it's a really beautiful way of expanding consciousness as well. Because as soon as you take a word and you pull it a little further, you're like, oh, look at that. That makes sense. So we just keep saying everything is a reflection of us. everything. It's our universe. We each have our own individual experience. Remember, we're not consuming with these eyes, we're projecting out. So we're taking in information and we're projecting it out. And then we all agree on something. And this is why this expanded consciousness has been so powerful, because there's many of us starting to see a new earth, a new way of being, letting go of the old, not standing for it anymore, ignoring it completely at this point, because if I don't see it for fact in my reality, it just doesn't exist. And so that's been really important for me in standing in my power and going, not even giving that thought, doesn't exist. This is where I am. I'm certainly healthy, wealthy, abundant, and wise. I see with my third eye. So I see this truth now, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, Cure by Cannabis over on Rumble. Good to see you. Yeah, you make dinner. You do what you need to do. And yes, I agree with that too. Carolyn's saying everyone's depth of being affected by it would be different. Absolutely. So it depends on where you're at in your consciousness, where you're at in your journey, getting really connected to how things make you feel, and then starting to feel your energy centers, feeling in your body where you're out of alignment. What is a yes for you? What is a no? When you walk into a room, what do you feel? When you walk into a store, what do you feel? Right? So I always go by how I feel as my first. It's not what do I see, it's how do I feel, because energy doesn't lie. Right? And I'm not saying these eyes would lie to me, they're not. But I may not perceive it exactly as it is, but I can feel exactly how it is. Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm very conscious about where I'm willing to go with my energy, right? There's a couple places that I'll pop into during the day. Oh, we haven't seen you forever. No, no, no. So like total little catch-ups, right? Which is super beautiful. And that's part of my, I go where I'm called to. Oh, I should go have one of these today. Yum. I have this drink, of course. It's a hot drink. It's called a healer and a hot shot, and it's got all kinds of immunity stuff in it. It's usually something I have in the winter, but I had one today, and it was really beautiful to go in there. And then I have this other shot put in it, and it's all steamed together. It's super, super yummy and very good for the immune system, which I've been just feeling a need to kick it up a bit. Sleeping with my amethyst crystal under my pillow. Ah, absolutely beautiful. Yes, that's a really good way to do that. Hermet, yes. You know what? That would be also a really good book to break down. So maybe we'll start with that one. Yeah, that it is, because when you first read it, there's so much not being said within that book that even when I go back and I look again, I'm like, oh, now I perceive this. Oh, interesting. So it'd be a really good one. Who's done a really good job with that as well? And it's a little shy. Trying to think of who I've listened to that I actually. Oh, it's the book of Hermetics, laws of the universe, basically. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's Hermeticism, Hermeticism. And when we look at many of these ancient teachings, which is still, this is still a Hermes and Thoth, these are all stories, right? They're all to the mythology to share with us. None of them are fact per se, but there's all these stories, even the Bible, right? Like all these stories come along, Kabbalion, right? Or what's another one? I can't remember what the Jewish book is called, but all of these books have very similar teachings when you take it back to the core. So if you go all the way back to the beginning, to the very, very beginning, they all have very similar stories around creation, around, all of these stories are about the inside of the body and what to do and where to go. Quran, thank you so much. Love it. And what you can do for self, right? Like the whole story of Jesus Christ is about the Christ oil. So when you get into these, teachings, there's these little bits that you can pick up and take in, and now one crosses over and plugs in here, and you're like, "Oh, now I see it from this side and this side." And so this is why the learning is so wonderful, and why Normstein is Normstein, right? Because she absorbs all of this and has a great handle and perspective on it, and it really resonates for her. So I always take it in smaller hits, and quite often it'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, I just know that." And so it depends on what you're drawn to. And whatever scares you the most is probably what you should go forward with, right? So, which means I should be doing some skydiving. I have a thing about somebody else being in control of my life. I've been rock climbing for years. Right? Oh yeah, she's a walking computer. That's her gift, right? That's her gift, to be that alchemist of consuming information, and then it just comes to her. It's part of her guides, right? They're just filling her in with what she needs to pick up. So we got a few minutes left. I would love it if we could take a few minutes, and I'm just gonna, nobody's asking me for anything else specific. So let's just do a group energy. Yes, come on in. Activation. Let's take a few breaths in and out of the nose. I won't pull it into a full meditation, but if you feel you would like to close your eyes, please go ahead. And I'm just going to call in some extra energy and support today. Who would like to come in? Saint Germain with a violet flame for those of you that need it. And the elementals always want to come in and play. The Fae. It's a reminder to everyone for the animals to watch the animals. They will reflect to you within your space things that are going on for you. So just really recommend that you pay attention and notice each day how the animals are behaving, and what shifts, what changes. I feel like we've been bouncing in and out of, like, every day is a new day, has a whole new meaning. So just observe that. I highly recommend it. Yes, it can help little kitty chicken for sure. Yeah. What are you giving her for the UTI? I just find it funny that your kitty's name is Chicken. It's cute. Should be feeling this coming into your higher heart, your heart space, wherever you need it. Um, Saint Germain with the violet flame, it's, something you is an energy, right? That you can call upon and pull it in. So absolutely, you just discovered it. Okay. Janice, there may be a sound that you can play for the kitty to help with this. So go ahead and yeah, cranberry extract for the kitty. Yeah, absolutely. If kitty will take it. That's always a challenge. That's a very common thing in cats, especially if the food has ash in it. I can remember having a really bad problem with one of my cats, and I learned all about it. Yes, Janice, trust yourself. Absolutely. Most important thing we can do is trust ourselves. And I'm just asking to send out this energy, which is not limited by space. And it's not me doing it. I am a conduit for energy. I am healthy, healed, and whole, so to speak. Um, and by being a good conduit, I'm able to transfer energy through me towards everyone else and lift their vibration. And in lifting that vibration, everyone tends to get what they need. So we can ask for specific things, can ask to chase that UTI out. So I have done quantum healing and Reiki. I don't tend to label it anymore. I literally do what I'm guided to do. What would you like me to do? How should I do this? And so I've taken aspects of each or other things I've learned along the way or got garnished from a book. We got that one book of modalities. So everyone knows Louise Hay's The List as a really good kind of guide for energetically when you have a physical ailment, what shows up energetically for you. Well, in this case, there's this Yvette Rose created this book and it's way more in depth and it asks questions, it talks about other timelines or past lives. And so it's a really beautiful way to enhance that as well. So I take in a whole bunch of info and and utilize it in such a way that I am never limited by that which I can draw upon. I am never limited. I'm always open for new ways um, and healing. Yeah, absolutely. I can put that in the TG chat. Yeah. It's a metaphysical manual for healing. Like everything you can imagine. So knee pain, right? And then it lists a whole bunch of things that you can do around it to energetically correct, right? I don't believe anyone ever needs to go and have an operation. If you can believe, you can achieve and you can heal yourself. Set my hands up so you know. And it's that self-love. It's that self-trust. The most important thing you can do is love yourself. Yeah. Aw, you're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah, today's a light day. Today's just having a chat. What do we need to share today? It's a very soft, healing kind of a day energetically. But yeah, definitely I can see the Hermetics, this healing book, Book of Wisdom. So those will start to go up into the membership. So keep your eyes open for those in membership. Could be as simple as like Norm and I chatting about it and going through the book and sharing our perspectives. Because when you share different perspectives, then you hear it differently too. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why we do this. Even as I sit here and I'm running these energies, I'm receiving too. It's as good for me as it is for you. Yeah. And if I start and end my day every day with a meditation, I had one in the middle too. It becomes like a set point for me because as soon as anything's off, I'm like, I'm responsible for this. I can adjust this. And just take a few deep breaths and just go inward and just know you are the creator of your reality. You are the first player in the game of life. And what can you do differently to show that to yourself? What is something small we can work on manifesting? Because you got to start small so you believe, and then once you see to believe, right? You'll gain on that. And so this morning's meditation was putting you in a room and giving you two screens as part of that. This is where I am, and this is where I want to be. And so we went through a little exercise with that. And Janice, for the kitty, if you can go down chickens, kitty chicken, back of the top of the head, through the ears, down and through the tail, and just say clear a couple times. And even along the belly, I'd be really curious to see if there's a reaction to just a tiny bit of pressure under the belly. And for that matter, do it to self too. So I don't know who's been working on their fascia, or if they have that loosening of that so you can get that energy flow going, which is your chi. Uh, Absolutely. So qigong or working on fascia. I'm reaching out to Brooke after this because Brooke and I need to jump back on. Really excited to have her back on. We'll bring her on a Sunday, and it'll be a little longer show. But her abilities on her take on breath work and the simplicity of body, mind, and spirit, and getting that connection going and the flow happening is really profound. Absolutely profound. So that's Brooke from Musical Breathwork. So, and I sent her a video. I just found her and sent her a video on her website and asked her to come on, and she jumped on. So I can see that she'll be back again. So yeah, and that we'll be connected. It's meant to be. Yeah. Yeah. She's very, very, very wise. Yeah, she's got a ton of info because of her experience and background, right? And so the more we can find like this, like the collectives, you know, the inner collective, there's so much room for so much more. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you guys, I love you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna end it off right there today. I'm just wishing you guys a really magical day. What can you do for you for some self-love? Yeah, because self-love, self-care is not selfish. It's actually required. It's like a building block. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And have that same love and compassion for myself. That's what some of this week has been, right? You know, I'm bridging 2 businesses right now. I'm bridging my bootstrap painting business, which is way down. I just got some numbers in. I'm like, "Oh, wow." I knew it was slow, but I expected it to be. And it is across the board in the painting industry in my area, and I'm sure around the world at this point in some areas. But it was interesting to see to not go, "Oh, I need to do," right? No, just going to sit here energetically, and we're going to put our attention where it's most important, and energetically shift this, energetically shift that. And so in not being reactive ever and waiting and responding, it makes me a totally different person. People who see me, that don't see me, they're like, "What are you doing? Because you're so different." So well, how can you show up differently? How can you have more self-care and self-love, guys? All right. And I'm just wishing you a really go do something for you. We're gonna go to the beach and watch the sunset tonight. That's what we're gonna do, me and my daughter Jade. So looking forward to it. All right. I love you. Have a beautiful